Hello everybody, welcome to the AM IT Geek YouTube channel. My name is Shabazz Dan, I am the IT Geek. So welcome to what is episode 10, the final episode of the Azure Virtual Desktop Zero to Hero series. And as I have been throughout this last couple of months, I'm joined by Simon Lee. Hi Simon.
Hi Spaz, how are we?
Not bad mate, you're not going to get emotional are you, on this last episode?
I'll try not to, but we'll see. I can't promise anything, but I can try.
Same mate, it's been an amazing 10 episodes.
Yeah, it's
I,
been
I
brilliant.
hope I hope you have learned. I hope you have learned something, mate.
Yeah.
It's been a joy to obviously record with you. We'll get into all the mushy stuff towards the end once we've done all that
Yeah,
technical
let's
stuff.
get the episode done first before the watershed.
To obviously celebrate our last episode, both me and Simon are in our hoodies.
Gotta be done.
Yeah, had to be done. So
Gotta
I've
be
sent
done.
out. Yeah, so the winners were already announced last week, and they all should be on their way. So again, thank you to those who did participate. And apologies if you participated, you didn't win one. Only had 10 to give away, but yeah. So like I said, today's final episode, Simon, and to finish it off, we're going to be concentrating on monitoring and alerting Azure Virtual Desktop. So like anything in hosted in Azure, it's not just about configuring the actual service. You need to make sure you can monitor it and alert on it afterwards as well. Same with we did the security piece.
Yeah.
It's not exactly part of Azure Virtual Desktop, but it's a service that integrates with it and is I think very, very important. Like always, mate. Again, throughout this series, we've been lucky enough to have a sponsor who's been promoting all the content.
Yeah, definitely.
So one last time, I just want to say thank you to Policy Pak, and here's just a little tidbit about them and what they do. So a massive thank you to our sponsor for this video series, Policy Pak. Policy Pak is a modern desktop management platform for the anywhere workforce. Policy Pak provides a powerful policy creation, management and deployment framework that extends the policy management, security, automation and reporting capabilities found within Windows Active Directory, Unified Endpoint Management Solutions, MDM providers, virtualization platforms and cloud services. Policy Pak comes with packs, each with its own set of customizable policies that enables IT and teams to solve today's most significant desktop management challenges like remote work, Windows 10 management, GPO sprawl, ransomware, group policy management and more. Policy Pak lowers IT costs, increases security, improves compliance, reduces GPOs and puts the IT admin back in charge. Policy Pak has hundreds of customers, over 1 million deployed seats, is an Inc. 5000 recognised company and a G2 crowd high performer. For more information, visit www.policypak.com and follow them on their Twitter page @PolicyPak. Yeah, so again, just a massive thank you to Policy Pak. They've been there throughout this series, so again, thank you for them for sponsoring it. So what we'll do, Simon, let's crack on with the content. So again, this is a bit of a mixture. There's going to be some theory and some practical element to it, as there has been throughout most of the series. So I'm just going to start my presentation deck. And like I said, as ever, there's been myself and Simon, and we're going to be monitoring and alerting Azure Virtual Desktop today. So what data can we actually monitor, Simon? It's obviously infrastructure as a service that we're looking at. So we're talking about compute services. But specifically for Azure Virtual Desktop, what is it that we're going to be looking at and what is it we're going to be monitoring? So session detail for starters. So what does that include? That includes looking at what your top session hosts are, the active users, for example, as well as much more sort of workspace information. So it's not so much as compute resources what you're using, but more details about your session hosts and which users are connecting to them and how many users are connected to them, that sort of information. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we actually get into the session diagnostic. So that's, as you would think, CPU, RAM, those sort of diagnostics you can get back from that piece. Then we're going to more user-specific reporting. So again, this will be around the amount of users that are logging on, the timings they're logging on, that sort of stuff. So more user-centric reporting there around Azure Virtual Desktop. And then session performance. So again, it's around the session of the user. So when users are logged into their sessions, how is the environment performing? Those sort of statistics you'll get from that. Host performance. So from this dashboard, we can collect and monitor information about the performance and registration status of the actual session host.
Yeah.
So again, we're talking however many session hosts you have, you can see lots of different sort of performances around the sort of host pools. So again, a lot of again CPU, memory, that sort of thing, but from a host pool perspective. Final thing is disk performance. So again, very self-explanatory, really. Through the disk performance dashboard, you can view captured information about the sort of storage level consumption that you're using, view like your profile containers, so that'll be like the Azure files or like your logical disks. This information obviously can help you measure input output operations, per your IOPS basically, and your latency of your Azure files, or if you're flush enough, your Azure NetApp file environment. Again, it's all around regarding your sort of FS Logics containers that you use in AVD, in your AVD workspace. So these are some of the items that we can monitor within Azure Virtual Desktop. As with anything, mate, you have prerequisites. There's always some sort of requirement needed to before we deploy these services. So for the sort of monitoring that we're going to be looking at, you need to have an AVD environment that's based on your ARM templates, as ours is. So that's the kind of first prerequisite. Another is that you need to have a log analytics workspace. Now, that's one of the things we're going to be configuring in our demo in a few minutes. So you need to make sure you have a log analytics workspace. And then, we can't get away from security and permissions. So you need one of the following IAM roles. Either a monitoring contributor. So again, that contributor element allows us to configure the monitoring. The log analytics IAM role, or security administrator as well. So these three roles will allow us to configure monitoring and alerting for AVD. Okay. Obviously, global admin obviously allows you to do it, but we're talking about specific roles that rather than as opposed to the global admin, because as best practice, we want to try and follow our best practice recommendations. So giving a specific role is best practice. So we've already touched on it. There's not much to really go into theoretically with this. When you are deploying AVD, there's all this kind of a given that you already know as you're monitoring from an Azure perspective. So we're not going to go into too much detail there. What we're going to do is, we're going to jump straight into the demo. Cool. I'm going to configure the workspace and the analytics. Welcome back, Simon. So here we are in the Azure portal. Yeah. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our log analytics workspace. So if you can see, it's in my menu already, so I can just click on that. And here we want to click on, I've got various ones there already I've been using for testing. If we click on create, so very, very standard sort of, like I said, as your sort of start page, your basics, it's always the same: subscription, resource group, so we'll save it in the RGO1. Give it a name, we'll just give it AVD LA01, so that's just AVD Log Analytics 01, just try and give it a bit of a naming convention, and we'll host it in UK South. So next we're going to go into the pricing tiering. So this is, again, depends very much on what your requirements are. I only have the pay-as-you-go one because that's the only sort of subscription that I've got. So we're going to just leave it on that. We don't really have any choice. Yeah. Tags, again, tags depending on if this is log analytics for a department. We've been through tags already, so you could set it up for marketing department. So you could give it a name of department and give it a value of marketing or that sort of thing. But for the purpose of the demo, we'll just leave it blank. And that's just to do a review for us, pass validation, and then we're going to go create. So we'll let this create, and what we'll do is then we're going to jump across to, while it's creating, we'll jump across to Azure Virtual Desktop, and we will create the next part of this, which is enabling diagnostics essentially in Azure Virtual Desktop. So here we are, Simon, in the Azure Virtual Desktop portal in Azure. And what we want to do now essentially is enable diagnostics on our virtual desktop workspace. So if we go to host pools and we click on our HP01 here,
Yep.
what we want to go down to is diagnostic settings. And essentially we should, so I've not enabled this yet, as you can see, and that's empty there. But what we want to do is we want to add a diagnostic setting. So we'll click on the tick, we'll click on that there. And then that'll essentially allow us to select which logs we want to enable. So we want to check all of them essentially, because we want checkpoints, we want errors, management, connection, host registration, and agent status health. Sorry, before that we better give it a name. So we'll just call it host pool diag for argument's sake. And then as far as the destination details, we want to send to our log analytics workspace. If we tick that, that'll open up another box, and that's where we get to select our log analytics workspace we just created, which is obviously finished. Okay, so once we've done that, we can click on save, and that'll save the diagnostic settings, and we should see it appear then in that little box. So if I go back to my host pool, leave it on diagnostics, there you go. You can see it there, which we couldn't see that before, could we? Okay. So what we want to do next is actually enable virtual machine insights to install the workspace agent. So we'll hop over to our monitoring for virtual machines, and we'll get that created. Okay.
Cool.
So Simon, as I mentioned, next we want to go into Azure Monitor, and we want to configure insights to install the workspace agent. So click on or find Azure Monitor essentially, and they want to go down to virtual machines. Okay. So again, here at the moment we've got nothing in there. All blank as you would expect. So I'm going to click on not monitored, because that'll have our virtual machines in there. And as you can see on our 3 host pools here, we've got nothing enabled. So we want to click on enable. So we'll click on enable here first. And then again, just tells us what we're going to get more visibility on. And we'll select enable. Let it validate. Again, let it choose a workspace subscription and a log analytics. So it's going to create a new workspace, a log analytics workspace for us, which is fine. If we have a specific one that we want to assign it to, we can just click and assign it to that, but we'll leave it on its own, have its own workspace there. Click on enable, and that'll do the sort of initial deployment. What we'll do is we'll wait for that to finish, and we'll do the same thing on the other 2 virtual machines. Once we've done that, we'll come back to this window just to show that they're all enabled. So Simon, now we've enabled those agents on the VMs, you can see that they've vanished from the not monitored area. If we go to monitored, we can see the 3 VMs there, and now they are going to be passing information through to that workspace.
Sure.
What we need to do next is create a workbook in Azure Monitor. So we're going to hop over to Azure Monitor and get that created, okay?
Okay, cool. Let's go.
So Simon, we want to enable or configure workbooks within our Azure Monitor, as I mentioned, but we're not going to do it through monitoring. We're going to actually go to Azure Virtual Desktop, click on host pool, and select our host pool. And here, as you can see, we've still got our diagnostic setting there, but we actually want insights. So when we click that, you can see monitoring and insights comes. So we click on insights, and this will show us, as and when we've configured it correctly. This will show us the correct configuration. Now, because we've not got a workbook enabled, we need to get that configured. So if we go down, it should give us an option to configure it somewhere. There we go. Sorry, it's right at the top. So we want a configuration, go to configuration workbook. Just let it do its thing. And here you can see it's already selected the correct analytics workspace.
Yeah.
But here we've not got our workspace configured here. So let's click on configure and then deploy. Let that finish deploying. So give us a few minutes, Simon. There you go. That's done.
Yeah.
And then let's refresh this page. And there we are. You can see all the insights coming through now. So,
interesting that it still says WVD, not AVD.
Yes, it does. It does. As you'll need to catch up on the.
Yeah, they do.
They need to catch up, don't they? So now we've configured our workspace. We can see some. Again, it'll take a bit of time because we've only just really configured it. But as you can see, we can see host pool details there. We're not actually actively using it, so it gives you some information around it's pooled.
Yeah, and it'll take time to generate.
Yeah, so because we've not actually started using it yet, there's no diagnostics connection settings. But these are all the options. If you remember, I mentioned connection diagnostics, connection performance, which we have an issue with at the moment, host diagnostics, host performance, and as and when. So there's no results yet because we've only just enabled it and we're not really using our environment correctly. Utilization. So these are all the alerts that you can see, and if we were actively using it, we'd see a lot more information here. So I need to investigate why that's not working. That should be working. But that is essentially getting our AVD host pool and deployment into monitoring. So that's the sort of demo that I want to show you, mate. Let's flip back off this and we can just do some closing little discussion because it is the last episode.
Sure, go for it.
So Simon, that's the sort of monitoring and alerting that I wanted to show you. We've set up very basic monitoring there. We've not done anything fancy. So just wanted to show you the sort of the areas where you can set up. You don't have to do it all through monitoring and log analytics. You can do it through AVD. That way, it's more specific to that service. So that's episode 10 done, mate. It's been for me personally, mate, I just want to say it's been an amazing journey. Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You've been a very, very good student, and I think, mate, the viewers will agree now that you've done episode 10. You are officially an AVD hero. So congratulations!
Sure. Thank you very much.
So yeah, and just is there anything you want to add, Simon?
No, I think that's been a great sort of like introduction into how you go around, get it all set up. I need to go away, have a play. Do some testing in my own lab environment, and then maybe do some blogging around that. And if I get stuck, I will come back to you, which wouldn't surprise me. It'll happen.
But it still happens to me. Again, it's one of those things where, like you touched right there, we've only tried to scratch the surface with this series. It's been very high level. I've tried to keep it not too technical.
Yeah.
But I do urge people who do want to learn Azure Virtual Desktop, play with it, demo it, get trial licensing, all that jazz. And again, just thank you to everybody who's been supporting us throughout this. The AVD community.
Yeah.
John Lone, people like that. Everyone who entered the competition. For the people probably noticed that my son keeps on commenting on my videos as well, which is quite funny. So so thank you again, and just to let people, people who do subscribe, thank you very much. If you keep an eye out, I've got some short videos coming out just around, link to some blog posts that I'll be doing. But also, we'll be starting hopefully by, I'd say, middle of September. There is an Azure VMware Solution series that I'll be doing with Shannon Keen, should I say? So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, thank you very much, Simon. Thank you everybody for watching.
No, thank you, Shabazz.
So that's a wrap, as they say in the movies. So yeah, please subscribe. Like, comment. Really appreciate the feedback. So yeah, up until next time. Thank you and goodbye.
See you later.